It's trash day, I'm putting you out, it's trash day. Putting you out, it's trash day. Putting you out of my mind. It's trash day, I'm putting you out, it's trash day. I'm putting you out, trash day, I'm putting you out of my mind. Now I'm gonna clean up, now I'm gonna clean up, now I'm gonna clean up the house. I'm taking all your garbage, taking all your garbage, taking all your
It starts with some beer, so you shouldn't have fear. Two garbage guys with facts, but they both still have tact. It's that time at last for the best damn podcast. It's Can Crusher Day!
And welcome to this special edition of Can Crushers. Mark Martinez alongside John Padalano, the English professor. Welcome aboard for this manager women's faction type of deal, John.
Thanks. Yeah, we kind of thought of this at the last minute last night. How you feeling this morning?
Drunk.
Yeah?
Yep. Rough.
Yeah,
rough.
Me too. I don't know what it is about when I come back and hang out with you, if you're a bad influence on me
I am.
or what, but yeah.
We went out to our buddy's camp last night, and all hell broke loose.
That was a blast. Seeing old friends and, yeah, good time. Drinking not way too much, a little too much.
Yeah, he was a little too much. I was way too much.
You were way too much.
But mine started early. Way too early. Like 11 o'clock in the morning. I think I drank for 13 hours.
Wow.
Holy cow. My liver should be on the floor.
Wow.
And that's why I feel like a bag of... All right, let's talk about the...
Well, we were all hanging out, and after a few drinks, we fancied ourselves some sort of faction, like Evolution or something. So we had this idea, like, why don't we do this? Why don't we talk about factions?
Yeah, we had a boatload of people on board last night. We had Pat Lupino.
Yeah.
We had co-host Paul Bullers was the one that actually stirred the whole pot.
Yeah.
We had another buddy, Mason, Brad, who got us in contact with Chad and Al Snow. There's like 2 or 3 more. I mean, this was going to be a house party.
Right. It was going to be like 98, 99 NWO with a bunch of us. You'd have to give us all the microphone for a while. It would have gone on for 3 hours. Instead, now you just got Razor and Diesel.
Yeah. Good call.
Thanks.
Good call. Were they really a faction, though?
The NWO?
No, Razor and Diesel.
Oh, no. Hall and Nash were, but they're always going to be Razor and Diesel to me.
Right.
Yeah.
The fake ones?
No. Oh, God.
Those were horrible. Absolutely horrible.
Ugh.
Put Jim Ross through that was ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. All right, before we dive more into factions, we are going to reveal, if you haven't been on Facebook, who the Manager Madness tournament winner is. We were sitting here 5 minutes ago, John, and I said, I'm actually surprised. I really am surprised.
I am too. It's Captain Lou Albano to go along with his 18 World Tag Team Championships. He's now the Can Crushers Manager Madness tournament winner.
So we have the Hearts that won the tag team tournaments.
Right.
And we have the King of the Ring.
That's right. That was the Macho King.
It was the Macho King, and now we have the manager. And at the end of the show, we're going to reveal something new to keep it going, to keep Jason Lang happy.
A new tournament. They are fun. People love them, so we're going to do another one.
Right. We'll find anything to do. We really will. But let's dive into factions and why we're here to talk about factions. A faction. What do you classify a faction as? We have to say faction about 1,000 times.
It's different than a stable. Like I would say the Manager Madness tournament runner-up, Bobby the Brain Heenan. He would be mad if I said stable, but, you know, he had the Heenan family. Jimmy Hart managed a bunch of guys. Whatever. Those are stables. They're different than factions. What defines a faction? I think I'll go towards one of the originals, if not the original, the Four Horsemen. What defined them? as Arn Anderson would say, it's a common goal. It's a commitment to excellence. It's a group of individuals, whatever he said, working as a cohesive unit. Maybe common enemies, like Dusty Rhodes, that sort of
Magnum
thing.
TA,
Magnum TA, yeah. So,
let's stop you right there.
Sure.
Where the Heenan family, to stick with the whole Madness tournament, if Paul Orndorff was in a feud with Hogan, and Bundy was in a feud with, I don't know, whoever,
right.
their paths may not have crossed. They
Correct.
could not have cared.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yep, that's a very good point.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
all I'm bringing to the table today.
Wow, that's a key difference. You're absolutely right. They did not necessarily have a similar goal in mind.
Right. The Horsemen wanted every title. They wanted to beat people up, and that's where, boom, the Heenan family. There's times you wouldn't see, Orndorff with Bundy or Stud in whatever.
Hercules, right, exactly. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And the Horsemen didn't necessarily have a manager in common until later. J.J. Dillon was Tully Blanchard's manager.
And he just kind of lingered around.
Yeah, and then, eventually became everybody's manager, but that's what, Tully Blanchard brought to it as his manager, J.J. Dillon. Were they your favorite?
The Horsemen?
Yeah.
By far.
Yeah.
Yeah, by
It's
far.
hard to argue against them.
But, all right, let's stop there again. I know what you're going to say, because yours is the same as mine. There's so many horsemen.
Right.
There was Ole, Arn, Flair, and Blanchard.
Right.
Probably my second favorite.
Yeah.
That.
To Flair, Arn, and Paul Roma?
No.
No? That's not your favorite?
No. Mine was probably Mongo. And
Jeff Jarrett. And,
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
That was definitely my favorite.
All
No.
right.
My favorite was Flair, Anderson, Blanchard, and Wyndham.
Absolutely.
By far.
Yeah, not even close for me.
I don't know how anybody else. I mean, I hated Luger.
Yeah.
Not hated, but I mean, I don't think he was a good horseman. I wasn't really a Lex Express fan. I just Luger never did anything for me. So him as a horseman,
Yeah, he didn't quite fit the mold. Nobody else was as chiseled and ripped as Lex Luger was. They were all in good shape. They could all work, but none of those guys were in that kind of shape. I think he kind of pulled focus a little bit from the rest of the guys.
That's a good point. Yeah, I didn't even think of that. That's a good point.
When you got Wyndham in there, though, they all looked kind of similar. And it just made them look more like a unit. They all
not
blended
bulky,
together.
but just athletic to a point.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Thanks.
Gene was a horseman, right?
Gene
Anderson.
Oh. We're going back to the Andersons.
For a moment.
I guess maybe early on.
Yeah.
I'd have to look that up. Yeah. They're family.
Right.
Flair and the Andersons.
For more than 30 years. They've been family.
More than 30 years they've been family. Yeah.
Who else do we have as a horseman that you despise? Roma was...
That was terrible, man.
Thanks for throwing that against the wall.
Yeah, that was a low point. I liked when they revived them as good guys. When Flair was in that feud with Gary Hart's stable, and Anderson and Blanchard were in the WWF.
Oh, yeah.
Ole hadn't been seen, at least
Years.
nationally, since they ditched him in like 87 maybe. And then Flair's getting, jumped by Gary Hart's guys, the Great Muta and everybody else. And then, holy cow, the Andersons come out and they throw up four fingers. We thought we would never see that again.
We really didn't.
They brought in Sting, which I don't think worked.
Sting was not a good horseman either.
Yeah,
kind of on the same. Maybe not Paul Roma-ish, but Sting was never a horseman. In my book, he was for 2 weeks, something like that.
Then they ditched him because he beat Flair, I guess, in that Iron Man tournament. But I liked that group when they brought in Sid Vicious and Barry Windham, when Ole Anderson sort of became the spokesperson manager for them.
Yeah.
They didn't hold a lot of belts like they did in the mid '80s, but I thought that 1990 run was fun too.
Could you see? I'm going to transition now. Could you see somebody now, 4 guys now, being the Horsemen of today, and I'm hopefully pushing you towards something that I could see them being kind of like the Horsemen of today.
Not on the main roster.
No,
I don't think there's anybody on the main roster like that. I think if you look to NXT, the Undisputed Era fits that mold. Again, they're guys that are similarly built, similar looks, but they're different in their own way. They're all really cool. They can all talk.
who's the leader of that? Who would be your Ric Flair? And if you don't say it right, I'm going to punch you in the face.
Adam Cole, baby.
Okay.
Thanks.
So he would be Ric Flair.
I think so. He seems to be the spokesperson. Yeah.
I put Kyle O'Reilly as the Tully Blanchard, I would think.
All right.
Roderick Strong, seeing that he's the newest member, over a year now, he's kind of the Barry Windham. I know he doesn't have the size.
Right.
And then, why can't I think? Fish would be
the Arn Anderson.
The Arn Anderson.
All right. Yeah,
definitely. That's kind of how I see that. And do you think it's time for them to come to the main roster?
I'd like to see them in NXT just a little bit longer. I think right now, if they were on a main roster, they would kind of get lost in the shuffle a little bit. So, I like them in NXT. I don't. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I don't think we're ever going to see that level of holding so many championships like the Horsemen did. I don't think the WWE has never put everything in one stable or one faction. I mean, Bobby Heenan managing the Intercontinental Champion and the Tag Team Champions at the same time, overlapping for like a month or two, is probably about it.
Right. I don't think you can right now.
Yeah.
With the focus of the fans and just the way that they have everything sporadically thrown about, I don't think that you can have that. They tried it. Or if they tried it recently with, what the hell's his name? Drew and Zig.
Yeah.
And kind of, Braun didn't have the championship, but,
yeah.
Even with the Shield.
Yeah, they had what? They had Roman with the Universal title and Seth with the Intercontinental.
And they won the tag team real quick.
Yeah,
but that was the night Roman gave it up.
Yeah. I don't think you're ever going to see that level of longevity with that many titles in one faction ever again.
No.
Nah.
So that brings us to the Shield. Let's talk about the Shield since we're on it. I know your son loves them.
Yeah.
I just could never get behind them. I really couldn't. There was something that I just didn't grasp with them.
Yeah. I kind of liked them this last go around. It was fun to see the good guys take matters into their own hands. It takes three of them to take out Braun Strowman. And I was okay with that. I enjoyed seeing them beat the crap out of him, and seeing the good guys do the bad guy stuff for me was fun.
It was just for me. We've been saturated with, Roman and Seth and Dean. I think, taking a step back, I'd be okay with them. And I'm not, counteracting myself, but I just think we have an oversaturation of them, more or less. And that's why I really didn't care about the Shield.
Is that part of a separate problem, do you think? Because WWE owns everything now, so you have so many people that need airtime. I mean, you talk about oversaturation. Was there ever a Sunday main event or, Saturday at 6:05 where Ric Flair was not on? I would think he was on every episode in some capacity.
I don't think main event.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not on Sundays.
Or Sunday Night Heat or wherever the hell it was.
Yeah, but the Horsemen in some capacity, I would think, were on most shows.
Oh, yeah.
So we could say that was oversaturation, but then again, there weren't, 200 people or whatever on the roster.
Right. And then there's only Saturday and Sunday.
Right.
There wasn't. Let's take a step back to last weekend, okay?
Yeah.
Last weekend. You have a half an hour of my interview with Al Snow, okay, on Friday night.
Right.
Because it counts. It's wrestling.
Right.
And it has to.
Right.
Saturday, you have 3 hours of NXT. So you have 3.5 hours. Sunday It started at freaking 5 o'clock, which these 2-hour preview shows are ridiculous.
Yeah.
Until 11, so there's 6 hours. So there's 9.5 hours of wrestling. Then Monday you got 3 hours, so we're at 12 and a half. And then you have 14 and a half hours of wrestling from Friday to Tuesday. I never thought I would say it's oversaturated. And then throw NXT in on Wednesday if you're going to dabble on the network, and 205, so there's another 2 hours. The only day you have off of wrestling is Thursday.
Yeah. That's a lot.
Can you find the time to watch it? And then actually Thursday you really don't have off if you would watch TNA.
Yeah.
And then if you watch your indies, like Ohio Valley Wrestling, or you go to some, is it too much? We're getting off topic.
Yeah, that's a subject for another day, and I definitely have some thoughts on that.
Is it too much?
Yes. I will say yes.
I would too. I think a lot needs trimmed back, and I think rosters need to come back. But again, that could go on for hours. All right, moving along.
Well, we talked about the Horsemen. They're often credited with like being the originators of that sort of thing. Go back a little further. Were the Freebirds a faction? Were they a tag team? Were they one of the original factions?
Oh, in the same era that just popped in my head. How about the Von Erich family then?
Oh yeah.
I mean, they were a family for 30 years.
Right.
But who knows? I mean, I would have to say the Freebirds, because the Von Erichs were family.
Yeah.
The Freebirds probably were the original faction.
Yeah.
I consider them.
Yeah.
They were after the same goal. They always wanted to take care of the Von Erichs.
Great point.
They wanted anything in Texas, boom.
Yeah, that's a great point. It wasn't necessarily, with the Horsemen, they say their commitment was to championships. The Freebirds, maybe it wasn't about championships, but it was about raising hell, and they
raise
had
a little hell.
They had a common goal. And on that note, Von Erich's Freebirds, there's no version of that match, a Von Erich versus a Freebird, that I would watch
over and over and over again.
Absolutely. They're all great.
Yeah. 4 o'clock, I would love to get home and watch WCCW.
Yeah.
For that on ESPN. It was amazing.
Very important question here. So you've got Terry Gordy, Michael P.S. Hayes. Third member.
Buddy Roberts for me.
No, you didn't let me finish. Buddy Roberts or Jimmy Jam Garvin?
Buddy Roberts.
Still going to go with Buddy Roberts.
Jimmy Garvin to me was more with Precious.
Yeah.
He was the fancy lad that would spray pledge around or, whatever. Not pledge.
Not pledge. Pledge is like what you use to dust.
Right. Air freshener.
Or cologne. Or I guess it was air freshener. It
wasn't cologne because it shot out. Cologne, it spritzes.
Yeah, okay. It was air freshener. That's right. Yeah.
It wasn't pledge. So we come to terms with that.
At least we know it wasn't pledge. Yeah.
But you were more of a Buddy Roberts or Jimmy Jam?
I like Jimmy Jam. I did. But you're right. When you think about that faction, I think you think about Buddy Roberts, but I like what Jimmy Jam brought to them as an occasional member.
Fill in.
And maybe I relate. Like, usually it's you and Paul, and I'm kind of the fill-in guy, like you guys are the Freebirds, and I'm Jimmy Jam Garvin.
I think we're more New Day!
Oh, all right.
Because we're children.
Oh, okay. All right.
But Paul doesn't even like New Day. He's Rusev, which he hasn't done that for Cheryl in 2 weeks now. So,
I know.
So we're losing a listener real quick. I don't know. Freebirds. My favorite Freebird, though. My favorite Freebird was Terry Gordy.
Me too. Yes.
He was just a man beast before they called. He could move. He was amazing. He really was.
Yep. And I don't know where I saw this. If maybe it was on the Von Erich DVD. I don't know where I saw it. But there's that image, and it pops up in different places. There's a fan, and I'm not condoning this at all, but just it was unreal how he threw this fan. This fan is back then they didn't have the barricade. They had like dental floss that went around.
Yes,
the ring to keep
it really
the fans
was.
away.
It was a stick. They stuck a stick into the mats that they had there. It would just hang there.
And it was just a piece of string that went around, and there's a fan.
And how did that hold anybody? I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah.
Your story is amazing.
Apparently it didn't hold anybody back, because that fan who was about the size of this pen I have in my hand right now.
And you can see that, can't you?
Right, you guys, this pen right here. Got in Terry Gordy's face, and Gordy threw him. He looked like a cartoon character that just flipped head over heels and went flying. But he was...
You could hear the Flintstone
Exactly.
going backwards, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
He was a bad dude, that Terry Gordy.
He was. He really, yes.
Yeah.
All right, Freeworks, where do you want to go next? Don't jump on that one yet. I know your pen is right there. It's a huge one. Everybody's waiting for us to talk about it. So let's stay in the NWA era right now.
NWA era.
I love these guys. I really did. The shtick. It was a good shtick.
The Varsity Club.
The Varsity Club.
Sorry, the Varsity Club. A bunch of dumb jocks.
It really was. And Sullivan just fit Kevin Sullivan just fit as the coach, the trainer.
Yeah. Yep.
You had Rick Steiner, Mike Rotunda, O-I-E.
I think he was
He was
days.
at that time.
Mike Rotunda, yeah.
Dr. Death was in it a little bit, Steve Williams.
Yeah, and the one skyscraper, not Vish, Danny Spivey.
Danny
was
Spivey.
Towards the very end, he was in there.
Yeah.
Yep, he was in there. But that original group of three was fantastic, fighting over whose college was better, and Kevin Sullivan trying to do an interview, and he can't get them to shut up. That was so much fun.
It was Michigan with Steiner.
Yep.
Syracuse with Rotunda.
Right.
And Oklahoma with Dr. Death.
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah, it was fun. And they would just beat people up.
Yeah.
They didn't even want titles.
Yeah. Well, Rotunda had a couple.
Right. TVs. Right.
And he had the Florida Championship title, which I guess, I don't know the ins and outs of it, but maybe they were in the process of selling to Crockett or whatever, but they were working together in any case. And Rotunda,
was this before 88? Inside joke. It was.
Yeah, I guess it was. Yeah.
And Doom wasn't around yet.
Doom wasn't around yet. We don't want to,
upset anybody on the Crockett page.
Yeah. Hopefully the people from the Crockett page aren't cursing us out right now. But he had the Florida Championship title, and he just gave that to Rick Steiner.
You could just give it.
Yeah, and Steiner loved it. He loved having it, and he tried to... If Mike Rotunda was holding up his television title, Rick Steiner would hold his Florida Championship title in front of it, and they banter
kind of
about...
like the bones of contention then. Like Ray Lynn and Karen Q.
Yes!
Always trying to outdo each other.
Always trying to outdo each other.
Oh, my God. How does the Varsity
Wow.
Club come around to the bones of contention?
I wonder if they know who the Varsity Club are. The Bones of Contention.
Well, we can talk to Ray Lynn at any time.
Yeah, we'll ask her next time we see her.
December 8th in Elizabeth, the first annual Pittsburgh Classic.
That's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that.
You've seen some matches, right?
I have not.
Oh, there's a bull rope match between Andy Palace and
Oh, nice.
Jock.
Jock Sampson. Yeah.
that's the only one I can remember right
Yeah.
now.
All right. That'll be fun.
Right?
Old-fashioned bull rope match.
When was the last time you saw a bull rope match? By the way, the next random show podcast we're going to have is favorite matches.
That'll be fun. Cool.
Like Dungeon of Doom.
Yeah.
No,
I was joking, yeah. Which, very quickly, that Hulk Hogan and the Macho Man simply had to get out.
Right.
And I don't think they ever covered how the bad guys could win. So it was Hulk Hogan and the Macho Man
just had to get out
against 20 guys on different levels of the cage, and they just had to keep getting... So eventually, they could die in the ring, and when they were taken out of the cage...
They still won. The Undertaker, not the wrestling Undertaker.
Right.
The real Undertaker just drags their corpse out. They win.
They win. The second they leave the cage, they win. I don't think WCW thought that one through.
That match was set up to fail.
Yeah.
As well, the Chamber of Horrors one. Probably a good day to watch stupid matches.
Yeah. It's cold outside. Put on the network and watch stupid matches, guys.
To talk about Al Snow, make sure you check out the dog kennel match. I went back after the Al Snow one. I actually went back and watched it again.
Damn, as bad as you remember?
Those dogs were just pooping and peeing, and like Al said, you couldn't perform because those dogs were just doing nasty stuff.
Yep.
And they were not vicious dogs. They were more worried about... Yeah. All right.
We learned you can't perform in the back of a truck either.
Oh,
Dustin
my God.
Repo Man, whatever the hell his name was at that point.
Blacktop Bully.
Blacktop Bully.
The
Wow, that's a good
over
memory.
the road... stop. All right.
All right. Anyway.
Oh, my God.
You and I went to see DX when they were really over. That was a lot of fun.
They were. It was in State College.
Yeah.
In the Bryce Jordan Arena. Those guys, when they were really over, it was fun. These last couple renditions of DX, it's like me and you being DX right now.
Yeah, they're ruining a good thing.
Yeah, they really are. Favorite member of DX?
Favorite member of DX? I'm going to say Triple H.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of I was a big fan of the New Age Outlaws.
Yeah.
Not for Billy Gunn, though.
Yeah.
I only liked the shtick that the Road Dogg did. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. That was their matches sucked.
I hate to be that way, but I don't know of any good New Age Outlaw matches like that really stand out. When Billy Gunn eventually went on his own, he had good matches with The Rock. I mean, he was getting pushed to main event status. I think he deserved it. He won the King of the Ring one year, if I'm not mistaken. We had the tournament. That's right. His match with X-Pac there in that tournament was really good. I just never thought Jesse James was.
No,
was
he was
great.
really he was Jeff James's roadie. You know, he should have never been. He was a great talker. He just wasn't a great wrestler. Nothing against him. And he's a good booker now.
Yeah,
but
Jeff Jarrett's roadie.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said Jeff James. You combined. They morphed into one person.
Oh, wow.
Jeff Jarrett and Jesse James, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that was... I don't remember any good matches with the two of them together. But as a group, man, the shticks...
they go hand in hand with the next one that we're going to talk about. That's kind of why I led you down this path.
Okay.
This was the whole Monday Night Wars.
Yeah.
And as we're sitting, in high school, the end of our high school career to college, as we're sitting in the back of the pizza shop on Monday nights, we couldn't figure out what to watch. And then all of a sudden, DX is rolling into the Omni in Atlanta. Holy shit! We know Nitro's there, and they're showing pictures.
Yeah.
And then the next week, NWO is driving by Connecticut. Whatever.
Yeah, they broke down
barriers.
They broke down walls. When DX showed up at WCW, that was unbelievable. One other quick thing, was at State College, was that where they dressed up as the Nation of Domination?
Yes.
We were there for that.
Yes.
That was hilarious.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. One thing I don't understand, because my brother taped it, threw a tape in the VHS and recorded it, because we were on TV the whole time. We were sitting directly across from the camera.
Does he still have that?
He probably does. Yeah, that guy doesn't know how to get rid of anything. He's probably got all of those VHS tapes.
We should watch that today.
We should. In fact, when we're done, I'll send him a text and say, see if you could find that VHS tape.
Yeah, close the shop today because we want to watch this.
When we went to see DX in Monday Night Raw.
What year was that?
That would have been 98. 97 was Montreal Screwjob, so it had to be the following year. It was 98.
Okay.
But we didn't hear the commentary while we were there. We saw it later. When we got home, we watched it. But Jim Ross is saying, we got word that the Nation is at the Rock's house or something, and they are smashing furniture. They are so mad. First of all, who called in to say, hey, look, we're smashing furniture at our house? Anyway,
Farouk would.
I guess.
That would be Farouk's job.
In any event, spoiler, guys, you didn't see this unless you were there. The Nation of Domination was there. They came running out and had a brawl with DX. So I never understood, and maybe this is another story for another day, but I never understood why they tell one story to the viewing audience and another story to the live audience. That doesn't move anything forward. I mean, if you're taping 3 things in one day and somebody's not...
There's my quote!
I'm doing the quotes! Yes! I did the quotes! It rubbed off on me. If somebody is, quote, not there, but they're at the next show, I get it. The audience, the live audience suspends disbelief. But what was the point of saying they're at home smashing furniture when then you have them come out and get in a brawl? Anyway, that never made sense to me.
Because they have the money of the 17,000 in said arena. They don't have the money of the millions
and millions
of people at home yet to keep them captivated through
Okay.
commercials and everything. That would be my thought.
Yeah, all right.
That
All
would
right.
be my
That makes sense.
Once you buy the ticket, WWE doesn't give a shit if you come, if you throw the ticket away,
Yeah.
because they got your money.
Yeah.
Said and done. Peace out. Excuse me. All right.
But along the lines of DX, sort of a mirror faction over in the other company.
Yeah. And this had everything going. At one point, I thought this was the next coming of sliced bread.
It was incredible. We were watching. Was it? I guess he was Steven Regal at the time. Lord Steven Regal was wrestling our buddy. Not Mean Mike.
Wayne.
No, it was Mean Mike.
Yeah.
It was Mean
It
Mike.
wasn't Bloom.
Our drinking buddy, Mean Mike.
Enos.
Yep.
Again, we'll come back to that story again another day.
Yeah.
You can go back and listen to it, to one of the very first episodes of where we drank with the Destruction Crew.
Yep.
But it just needs to be told at least every 6 months.
I am going to drop that story every time I possibly can. We drank with the Destruction Crew. Anyway, out comes...
Yeah, a lot at the end of the night, let me tell you that.
No, it's all right. In the middle of the match, coming through the crowd, at the time...
It was Razor
It
Ramon.
was Razor Ramon. Like, yeah. There were rumors that he was on his way out and he was jobbing out to, like, Triple H. But it still was a shock because you weren't really sure what was going on. And even if you could predict when he said, "I got another buddy who's going to a big man," you knew it was going to be Kevin Nash.
Did you?
I did. I had a feeling it was going to be Kevin Nash. It still was a surprise, and it still was fun to watch. You just didn't know what was going to happen, and there was maybe a little bit of you that thought, I wonder if they're really starting a real fight with WCW.
I wonder if this is going to be something that you're going to see all of the guys come over and it's going to be one huge organization like my grandfather thought.
Right.
Like, why doesn't Hogan ever fight Flair?
Right. He didn't.
And they did. They did. Oh, everybody knows. Eventually.
Yeah.
But at one point in 85, why is Hogan not fighting Flair? They both have titles. What the hell's going on?
Yeah, both our grandfathers just thought it was all one big organization, not realizing, why were there so many world titles? Anyway.
Because the NWA was just a show name, and the WWF was just a show. It wasn't,
it
was primetime wrestling or anything. But then the Eric Bischoff twist was actually that shocked me.
Yeah.
Have him be the cohort, of it.
I wasn't a fan of that. I think it was their attempt to do what Vince McMahon was doing over in the WWF. That was to be the evil boss. I loved it. I'm not ashamed to admit.
When Virgil was part of it?
Yeah, that was my favorite. Yep. I hugged Mark when Razor punched him in the gut, punched Eric Bischoff in the gut, and Diesel put him, like, jackknifed him off the platform through the table. Holy cow. I don't know if we recorded that and then rewound it and watched it
a million times.
over
It was
and
like
over.
Scratching. It was like, all you kept seeing was Bischoff.
It was like a turntable.
Bam! Yeah, that's what I was thinking of, turntable. I'm doing the motion.
He's doing the scratch motion right now. Yeah.
But, and then it got out of hand. I didn't mind it when it was, I loved it when it was a 3.
Yeah.
And then even when, like, Macho came over, I was all right. But then when you had them fighting with themselves, NWO Black, NWO White, NWO Rainbow, NWO Red, I mean, NWO Country, NWO Rock and Pop, it was just ridiculous. They ruined so many people.
Yeah.
And I will always bring up this name. Kurt Hennig was... I loved him. Mr. Perfect was the perfect gimmick for him.
Yeah.
Kurt Hennig in the AWA, awesome. When he came to WCW, they had no clue what to do with him.
They didn't know what to do with anybody at that time.
Put him in the NWO and make him like country. Nothing wrong with country. I listen to country.
God.
But you're going to fight with the guys that like rap.
It's so stupid. So stupid. They ruined such a cool thing. I was all right when the $1 Million Man was the Steve Austin. What was his name?
The ringmaster.
The ringmaster. He was the ringmaster's manager.
We can never. One of us always, of the three of us, always forgets ringmaster
because it's pretty forgettable. But
right.
He lost to Savio Vega. The stipulation was your manager's got to be fired. So DiBiase was gone. He showed up with the NWO one week. That was fine. Once the Giant joined, I thought, because I felt like you had a big guy. You had Kevin Nash.
Right.
You know? And then, man, everybody. Mike Rotundo was a member, and
I thought you were going to say Swanson.
No, Mike Swanson was a member. I was a member. Everybody was a member. And I don't know if you knew this. Virgil became Vince, right?
Vincent.
The reason behind that, when he was Virgil, that was a rib on Dusty Rhodes. I never knew that. That was Vince's rib on Virgil Runnels.
Virgil Runnels.
So he made him, like DiBiase's bitch.
Right. You could say that.
Yeah, I could say that.
I mean, Ethan's playing GTA, so, you know.
All right. So
I'm a great dad.
They named him Virgil. And then when he went to
I knew when
WCW,
he went to Vince, when he was Vincent, they were making fun of him.
They were making fun. Yeah, that was.
But I didn't know that Virgil was.
Yeah. But then didn't he become Shane too? Like in 2000, before WCW finally went away, he was Shane for a minute.
Yeah.
God, WCW.
Russo, Vince Russo.
Yep.
It was horrible. It was horrible. All right, moving on. A couple that I have written down. The Brood.
Oh yeah.
I love these guys. For the moment, I love these guys. Gangrel, I thought, was just great. He came out with his chalice of blood.
From underground through the fire.
Yeah. They had a cool entrance. I thought it was really fun. I don't know. I liked Edge. I was never the Christian guy.
Yeah.
That sounds horrible. I'm not a Christian guy.
You are a Christian guy.
Right.
You're just not a Christian guy.
I'm not a Christian guy. They didn't have much, though. The Brood itself really didn't linger.
Gangrel, met him. Nice guy.
Yeah.
He probably still is a professional wrestler. Not a whole lot of people can say that. So he lived his dream. Bell to bell. Not a lot of great matches.
No.
And so I think that's why Edge and Christian
broke up.
They
broke off, not broke up.
They had to go do their own thing because they were having some incredible tag team matches
with the Hardys and
yeah. And then I almost forgot the Brood then sort of got sucked into the Ministry.
That was coming up, the Ministry of Darkness.
That was fun.
I love the Ministry of Darkness. I mean, some of the people, Phineas was in there.
Yeah, I can't remember what his name was. I know Mabel became Viscera.
Right. Well, I don't even know if it was Phineas. Oh yeah, because Henry
Midian. Yes. Yep.
Phineas was Midian. He had a third eye.
He was like the bitch of that
He
faction.
really was.
Yeah, he got smacked around and got told to do things. Yeah.
That was good though. That Undertaker's probably one of my favorite Undertakers.
Yeah.
The stuff that they were doing, they hung Stephanie off of
on a cross or whatever. Yeah.
It was his symbol that just apparently looked like a cross and crucified her.
They kidnapped Ryan Shamrock, right? Ken Shamrock's sister. The Undertaker demanded absolute loyalty and that his members carry out exactly what he demanded. And when they didn't, they whipped one of the guys. Was it Edge or Christian? Remember I
don't remember this one.
Yeah, Gangrel and Edge, I think, had a hard time watching it. And that's what made them split from those guys because Christian was just getting whipped. Like he was being held down and whipped because he lost a match or didn't do what Undertaker said. That was a badass faction. That was a lot of fun. And I've always liked Halloween and scary stuff. So
put two and two together, Mark. He was Jinder Mahal a couple years ago for... Do you want to tell that story? Or do you want to...
Yeah, real quick.
All right, this is great.
So I put on a suit. I put on a black suit. I was like WWE champion Jinder Mahal. So I had Sylvan's WWE championship and his microphone and a pair of my wife's leggings that I put on as a turban. And I kept one leg hanging down because you know how he has it going across his face and then he would undo it. And I used, I don't know, my wife helped put a beard on me, like, I don't know, it was mascara or whatever, some of her makeup. And I didn't think anything of it. I'm like, oh, I'm Jinder Mahal, this is so cool. And then 5 children came up for candy. and they just looked at me for a while. And I don't want to guess what they were. They looked Middle Eastern. They might have been Indian. They might have been Pakistani. I'm not sure. But they looked at me for a while, and I felt terrible. Because they looked at me like, are you supposed to be dressed up like one of us? And it's not what I was going for. I was trying to dress up like a wrestler.
But wait a minute. You're
I
a bigger
forgot. Go ahead.
dick. You're
Go
a
ahead.
bigger dick than that.
Go ahead.
Because on a loop, what did you have playing in your house for 2 hours?
I had Jinder Mahal's, and I found Jinder Mahal's entrance music on YouTube on a 2-hour loop. So I blared it as loud as it could go.
And I'm sure you. This is. I'm sorry. I'm PC right now. I'm sure you would go a little bit.
No.
Oh, boy.
I did not.
I would.
I tried to be tasteful about it. But I was Jesse Ventura the year before that. That was a pretty dope costume. I don't know.
were.
Was I offensive to
No.
California bodybuilders, you know?
The year before that, though, you were offensive to all New York Jets fans.
Yeah, I was Rex Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a good costume.
That
too.
was a good costume.
Yeah.
That-
Anyway, I didn't mean to offend anybody with that costume. I just wanted to be Jinder Mahal for Halloween.
Which is random.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. I want to touch on. We have several more, but I want to go to the ECW. One of my favorite in ECW was the Triple Threat: Shane Douglas, Chris Candido, and Bam Bam Bigelow.
Yeah.
They ran that organization for a while. Maybe they ran it to the ground. Some would say because Shane was just. Go and watch the Shane Douglas videos. John will not speak. He was never a fan of Shane Douglas. I like
Never an ECW fan.
right. You were, yeah. I like Candido. Candido of all of them were probably my favorite. When Sonny had Candido, I don't know. I just wanted to give them a quick
Honorable
mention.
mention?
Honorable mention.
Yeah. I always like Bam Bam Bigelow wherever he was, and any ECW I ever watched, which wasn't much, but I would watch a Bam Bam Bigelow match. He adapted that style pretty well.
He did.
Yeah.
He did. That's their honorable mention. So let's reverse to somebody we've mentioned a couple times through having fights with a couple of these other factions. Nation of Domination.
Yeah, they were a good one.
The first rendition,
Yeah,
not so much, when Farouk was the leader.
Yeah.
Once Rock came in,
yeah,
it blew up.
yeah.
It really did.
Ahmed Johnson was a member for
He was.
a little while, not long. Just a little. Yeah, that was
Probably
bad.
one of my least favorite wrestlers
Yeah.
ever.
Yeah.
I think he's probably a lot of... Because he was just rough in the back, I heard.
Yeah.
Nobody liked him.
Yeah, and just you couldn't understand what he was saying. I thought Farouk was okay as the leader, but The Rock's The Rock, man.
Right. But he wasn't The Rock by then. I mean, we know so
Right.
much
Yeah.
since then, but
Yeah,
just this young whippersnapper coming taking
Yeah.
over for Ron Simmons. What the hell is he doing?
yeah. But that really got him out of his shell. And
D'Lo,
thankfully-
too.
D'Lo was so much fun. Yeah. D'Lo was so much fun that you couldn't help but root for him. When he beat Triple H for the European I think he beat Triple H for the European Championship. It was great to see a belt on him. You know, it was great to see a belt on him.
He always wore a chest protector. I loved it.
Yes.
And it always hurt him more when he did his frog splash than anything.
Yep. And he considered himself the king of all European champions, and they did a show in England, and he was
Maybe
going
we
around.
should, that should be a next tournament.
What's that?
The King of European Champions.
King of European. There weren't a whole lot of them,
No.
right? The belt didn't run for very long. Yeah, Nation of Domination was cool. Nation of Domination was really cool. Under Farouk, it was more militant.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Godfather was still Kama Mustafa. It had like a black Muslim feel to it. You know what I mean? Like
Black
a Black
Panther.
Panther. Exactly. Yeah.
Black Panthers.
And then when The Rock got involved, it really eased up. And Kama Mustafa, at first he was Kama the Godfather, and then they just dropped the Kama part, and he was just the Godfather. Mark Henry was Sexual Chocolate.
That in itself,
Yeah.
right there. I mean, I want to take the Mae Young stuff out or
Yeah.
the Moolah stuff and all that. That was garbage. But
yeah.
when he first started being Sexual Chocolate,
Yeah.
oh, the stuff that
He was in the back with Jacqueline.
Yes.
And Terry Runnels, and like they're whipping
Torrie
him.
Wilson,
and,
yeah.
they're licking whipped cream off his nipples.
He
Good
was
stuff,
great.
man.
He
Good stuff.
was great. Yeah, we'll never see stuff like that again.
No.
Never.
And then he missed a tag team match. He was because they were.
He was busy.
He was busy.
He was busy. Ethan's in the other room. He
yeah.
was busy.
Yeah.
All right, that Nation was great. You want to touch on them anymore?
No, I think we covered it. They were a lot of fun.
This one you're gonna hate. The Oddities. Do you remember them?
Yes. Yeah.
Is that all we should say?
It was the Attitude Era, and they tried to dabble in some different stuff, and they brought in those guys from Howard Stern.
Yeah.
They brought in Hank the Angry Drunken Dwarf, Crackhead Bob. I was a huge Howard Stern fan. I knew the whole whack pack.
Of course you did.
But
it was on late.
Yeah. And then they give the microphone to Hank the Angry Drunken Dwarf, and it was live, and so I guess the guy in the control room or whatever had to have a hot finger because there was a lot of bleeping going on. That was pretty hilarious. That was also short-lived. That we saw that guy at a live event, not Earthquake with the mask, the other guy, that humongous guy.
Kurgan.
Not Kurgan, the other humongous guy. I don't know, he's from Argentina, somewhere in South America. I couldn't think of his name right now. He was just terrible. He was like over 7 feet tall. He was a giant guy.
I know who you
put
mean.
him in with the Oddities, and he was...
He tried dancing.
Yes, yeah. But
This was supposed to be a joke, folks. I really didn't think we were going to talk about the Oddities.
all right, yeah. So I'm done.
You love them.
Earthquake-
As much as you sighed.
Earthquake under a mask was dumb. We all knew it was Earthquake. Who did he hug? Cartman or whatever?
Yeah.
He had the Cartman doll or stuffed animal or whatever. Yeah.
So, continuing with putrid ones, the Dungeon of Doom. And
God.
it's only so I can bring up one guy, Earthquake's partner.
Oh, the Shockmaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just... Well, Earthquake was the Shark by then.
Yeah.
Beefcake was...
The Zodiac.
The Zodiac.
Right? Oh, man.
Oz was in this one, right?
Maybe. Yeah.
And then the Shockmaster trips in ruins. That's probably the downfall. I'm honestly saying that was probably the downfall.
WCW?
That was NWA yet, wasn't it? Or was it?
It was WCW. It was like 91-ish. Yeah.
All right,
Well,
really
no,
wasn't
it was
the
a little
downfall.
later than that. It was a little later than that because...
Well, it kind of was because there was a time that nobody wanted to watch WCW until NWO came back around.
Yeah.
So this whole... It was rough.
Yeah.
It was rough. Going back over to the WWE, the Right to Censor, I kind of like these guys. They were just goody two-shoes. You had Stevie...
Richards?
I was going to say Stevie Michaels. Who the hell that was? Stevie Richards, Ivory, Val Venus was...
Yeah.
And then The Godfather again.
Yeah.
He's played so many roles.
Yeah. I didn't...
You didn't like
enjoy
this?
that. I did not like it, no. Because
Oh,
it was...
because you were badass.
Right. And I wanted them to go back... I wanted them to be who they genuinely were, because...
the people I hated. The whole, like, Val Venus is a good guy. But I just thought if you would have gotten maybe the right people, it was just a funny thing that,
It was. But all of a sudden he says that he never claimed to be an adult film star. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. You had every innuendo.
Right.
Yeah, it was a lot of double talk that they weren't who they were. Just say you changed. Say you've had a change of heart. But I just felt like the whole thing was a bold-faced lie.
Moving over, I'm shocked that you have not brought this one up when we were talking about the Horsemen, because they don't go hand in hand, but they do. The Russians.
Oh.
The Koloffs.
Yeah. The Russians, and there were some masked guys with them too, right, at one point? The Russian assassins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ivan Koloff. His
Nikita.
nephew Nikita. And then they were obviously villains, but there was a point where Nikita came out with Dusty Rhodes, formed the Superpowers.
Right.
And then I think there was a point where, Paul Jones, the Powers of Pain jumped ship to the WWF. Paul Jones had a falling out with Ivan Koloff. And then it was cool to see Ivan and Nikita reunite, but as good guys.
Right.
Yeah.
And Crusher Khrushchev.
Khrushchev, a.k.a. the Blacktop Bully.
A.K.A. the Repo Man.
Yep.
A.K.A. Okay, I'm just bouncing back and forth. This is how I have them. The $1 Million Corporation. Do you remember these?
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't a great faction.
It wasn't. Yeah.
It really wasn't.
That seemed pushed, whereas a lot of these we're talking about seemed organic.
Oh, look at you.
Thank you.
Nice.
The $1 Million Corporation just seemed pushed. You know, like that. You always hear the Horsemen were something that they put together themselves. It wasn't a guy writing it. Ted DiBiase's crew just seemed like people wrote this.
Right.
So.
Just a couple other ones real quick. We talked about the Hearts.
Yeah.
The Wyatts.
Yeah.
These are just mentions. Nexus. You remember Nexus? Nexus was probably a time when you were off for a little bit.
I have no recollection of Nexus.
This is where Wade Barrett started. They were from NXT, the rookies. They wore the patches on their arm.
Yeah.
They came up all together. The Dangerous Alliance.
Oh, yeah. I love those guys.
Rude,
Love them.
Anderson, and Eaton.
Eaton. There was more. There were about 4 or 5. Austin.
Oh, yeah.
Austin was
Austin
there.
was in it.
And did you say Anderson?
Yeah, I said Rude, Anderson, and Eaton.
Rude, Anderson, Eaton, Austin, Zabisco.
Oh, my God. You know Larry.
I know Larry, yeah. I know Larry's sister. We're good friends.
And New Day. New Day's, I consider, if the Freebirds are a faction, New Day is clearly the new Freebirds.
Yeah. One other thing about the Dangerous Alliance, they had probably all of my favorite WCW wrestlers at that time in there. I was always a huge Bobby Eaton fan.
I love Arn Anderson.
I love Arn Anderson. I thought he and Eaton made a great team.
When we play the Horsemen, because we're jackasses, we're 41-year-old jackasses, and when we go to events, somebody's got to be the Horseman.
Yeah.
So John is Ric Flair.
Woo!
I've always put John as Ric Flair. Pat would be Tully Blanchard.
Yeah.
Quiet, but takes care of business.
Yep.
Our buddy Jack is whatever one that we just want to make him. Normally Wyndham, because that's the one. And I'm the fat, balding guy with glasses that has a beard. So I'm Arn Anderson.
Makes sense. Makes perfect. And I have long, flowing blonde hair, which is why I'm Ric Flair.
He's double A, I'm double M. So I just dubbed myself that so nobody else can have it.
Before we get on to the tournament, I can't believe we didn't talk about one of the greatest factions ever.
You're going to probably piss me off with this.
Wrestlers known as from the Orient, from Japan,
Oh!
the Machines. Not to be confused with the original Machines. I'm talking about the real Machines. Giant, Super, Big, Piper,
Hogan.
Hulk, and Animal Machines. And we never figured out who they were.
Never. It's
Never.
unbelievable.
I have a feeling that the Hulk Machine was secretly Mr. America. But that's just a hunch that I have. I don't know.
Well, maybe Juan Cena?
Maybe.
Yeah, no?
No.
I'm horrible, but this is going to be a perfect segue. Now that the Women's Revolution is around, what's your favorite women's faction? And if you don't say the Riot Squad, I'm going to punch you. Because they're clearly... They're the only faction right now.
Yeah, the Riot Squad's awesome. I was sad to see Paige have to retire, because I thought that was a good faction, too. They both, again, seem like something... Obviously, I would imagine everything is written today. They both seem like something that was thrown together, but both factions made it work.
Well, Absolution definitely was thrown together.
Yeah.
The Riot Squad fits.
Yeah.
The only one that I would change Sarah Logan a little bit, because you have Liv that is a juvenile delinquent.
Right.
And Ruby is just a badass. Country Strong, Sarah Logan doesn't... I don't think she fits in that. I think she would have been better to stay as Crazy Mary.
Yeah.
Her indie name.
Yeah. I like that they're different, though. See, I want more of her. They need to give her the mic more. They gave it to her a little bit in the beginning, and I don't know if maybe she wasn't what they thought she was going to be, but they've kind of taken her voice away. She needs to come back. I want to hear more about eating possum with her paw pap and shooting stuff and blowing up animals. Please. I want to hear more of that.
Wow.
From her. Yeah, she's
All
cool.
of a sudden, you're a hunter. All of a sudden, you and Kinche going out together.
So you want to tell them what this next tournament is?
Yeah, I'm losing my voice
All right,
horribly.
so I'll tell them.
Go ahead. You're going to name it now because this is the big
so I got to
thing.
name it. Okay.
Yeah,
so
Paul's going to kind of butcher this for the next
all right.
2-3 weeks.
Boy, maybe we should have thought of a name before we...
No, this is why we do this.
This is why we do this. Okay. So Women's Revolution is taken. What this is going to be is a tournament of women's champions.
We have 16.
We have 16.
We went to 16 because 32 would have been until Christmas. We like keeping it different. We like, Jeff Merriman is awesome voter. Jason Lang. We just want to keep rolling with this. We just threw together some more things that are in our back of our minds for later. Sorry. Go ahead.
We're going to call it...
Wait, no.
Go ahead. No. Oh, all right. You got me. Why don't we call it the WLF tournament, the World Ladies Federation tournament?
That is phenomenal.
Thank you.
World
I just thought of that.
Ladies Federation Can Crushers tournament.
I'm writing this down. World Ladies Federation Can Crushers tournament.
Well, we will just tag WLF tournament in everything because it's easier. But when we acknowledge it on the podcast, we will make sure we say Women's Ladies Federation.
World Ladies Federation. Women's
but
Ladies.
It's the WLF.
Women's Ladies Federation. Right? That's redundant.
The Women's Lady. Yeah.
The Women's Ladies. Yeah.
But the WLF. We're going to do the WLF.
All right.
So we have 16 names in a hat like normal. I'll pull one. John pulls one. Hopefully we get through this, fast and it doesn't take forever. Number 1, Sensational Sherry. Let's talk about her a little bit. As a wrestler, Sherry Martel you just ruined the next round because you write so damn big.
That's all right.
You're going to rewrite the WLF.
I was going to say you're going to rewrite the WLF. But go ahead. Sensational Sherry.
AWA for her.
Yep, absolutely.
Is where it's coming from. When she was in the WWF, I liked her more as the manager type, with Macho Man and, so on and so forth.
Shawn Michaels, Ted DiBiase, Buddy Rose in the AWA.
But she's more AWA for me.
Yep, I agree. She's a doll. She was. She's a sweetheart. If you've ever seen a shoot interview with her, she was beautiful. She was classy. Great for the business. Took bumps like no other woman from no less than Hulk Hogan and The Ultimate Warrior. We talked about that at some point. I think on another issue or another.
We don't even know what we talk about.
We don't even know what we talk about. But I know we've brought her up before. I can't say enough good things about Sensational Sherry. Oh my God, she's going
right off the bat. He's going nuts.
Charlotte Flair. Wow,
that's a big match. That's a huge match. This is the difference of Can Crushers. You don't know what you're going to get.
You never know.
Unbelievable.
We promise you excitement, ladies and gentlemen, and we deliver.
There's so much to say about Charlotte. I love her. I really do, but I think she's overpushed right now. 7 championships in 2.5 years. It's just, it's too much for me right now. I like the whole step back right now that she was on until Becky got hurt, which...
It's too many championships in a short period of time. However, I love the fact that she put an unbelievable beat down on Ronda Rousey.
Which, spoiler, she is not in this tournament.
Yeah,
Ronda.
She's not. Yeah, spoiler, she's not in this tournament.
Leilani Kai is, though.
Oh, wow. Leilani Kai defeated Wendy Richter for her championship at the War to settle the score.
8-5.
And then lost it back a few weeks later at WrestleMania, which, did I ever tell you, Mark? I was at the first WrestleMania.
No.
I never mentioned that to you?
Never told anybody that.
No, I never have. Wow. Leilani Kai is going up against a woman who's been around for a while, continues to wrestle, Mickie James.
Yeah, and I think Mickey's on her, I don't want to say on her way out, but, she's more there as a mentor.
Yeah.
She's kind of taking over for Alexa Bliss right now, with Alexa being kind of hurt and on the shelf.
But a 20-year career for Mickie James, right? Thereabouts, 18, 19 years.
Yeah. Fabulous Moolah.
Oh, wow.
I like how I'm getting all the old ones and you're getting all the
the
newbies.
What does that say?
Nothing.
Fabulous Moolah.
20 years.
Yeah.
With a title, 10,865 days, I think.
Yeah. Wow.
Roundabout.
So what if the Spider Ladies in this tournament they end up facing each other? Does she get a bye?
No.
No.
She's got
to wrestle herself.
Yeah.
Okay. Going up against Lita. I love Lita. Always have. She was my favorite woman wrestler from that era, mid to late 90s.
I liked her. I was never a huge fan. I thought she was more pushed. I thought she was pushed fast. But they were doing way too much with her and Edge. It was too sexual.
But before that, with the whole
S.A. Rios, I liked her with, but she didn't stay with S.A. that long.
With the women showing a lot of skin back then, she had the whole underwear thing where her underwear was popping out, but that was more badass than sexual. That was like, I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to dress how I want to dress. Underlay.
Not that makes any sense. Right. Medusa.
Oh, nice.
Alundra Blaze,
Medusa. Yeah. She had good matches with Bull Nakano.
She did. She was the one that took the title from WWF and dropped it in the garbage can.
That's right, on WCW TV.
Yep.
Yeah.
That pissed a lot of people off. That was real.
Yeah. It's going to be a battle of the blondes because Medusa's going up against Trish Stratus.
I don't know. Trish was a looker.
Yeah. I liked her too.
Maybe it was just because I kind of liked Molly Holly better, or Stacy Keibler back in the day, or who else was back there? The other blonde.
There was Ivory,
Kelly.
Yeah. See, I always liked Trish and Lita. They were my favorites from that era, in an era that I think really sucked for women's wrestling.
Oh, it did.
I think the women were talented. I think the writing was horrible. And the stuff Vince had Trish Stratus do, hopefully she laughed all the way to the bank, because she checked her integrity at the door.
Yeah. Next up, Nikki Bella. One of the longest rating Divas champion.
Yeah.
That's why she made this list.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on.
Yeah. Other than that, yeah.
She's going up against AJ Lee.
Nice. This is probably one of my favorites. AJ Lee is where I think the women's revolution actually started. Her coming up and just running roughshod over it, and her pipe bombs. She was the first one to have pipe bombs, kind of like CM Punk era and everything.
Okay.
I think she's the one that you should say that started. She'll never get credit, never, because she's married to CM Punk, and they both went out dirty, and
I'm gonna confess I don't know anything about her. It's probably when I wasn't watching, but I'm gonna go watch some AJ Lee matches.
You damn well better. All right, next up, Wendy Richter.
Nice.
I hope you pick the next one. I would really like to see this
Wendy
matchup.
Richter, 2-time champion. She beat the Fabulous Moolah, and she was part of the original Screwjob.
Yep.
Fabulous Moolah was dressed up as a spider lady. I read the story that before they went out there, Vince McMahon wanted her to sign a contract. He was in the back. She's like, look, I don't sign anything without it being looked over by, not just her, but she had like a manager or something like that. She goes, I want my manager to look this over. And Vince was just like, if that's how she's going to be, this is what we're going to do. And she wasn't even pinned for a 1 count.
That's on the network. You can find it.
Yeah, that was some crap, man. I liked Wendy Richter and
met her in Clearfield.
Really?
Clearfield used to do. I want to say it was AWA, but it was an indie show. It wasn't the indie shows that we know now. Would bring people in, and they would have wrestling in the Clearfield Fair. Not inside, but it was outside, on where they did truck and tractor pulls or whatever on the parade area. Todd Bobenreath and his sister and I remember.
Yeah, I remember them. Yeah,
they we got to go backstage and meet Wendy Richter. She's a sweetheart,
and she was with Cyndi Lauper back in the day.
Well, Cindy definitely was not in Clearfield.
No. Wendy Richter has got her hands full. Alexa Bliss.
Wow, spiteful,
fiery 5-footer.
Mrs. Can Crusher freaking hates her.
Hates Alexa Bliss?
Despises her.
Mrs. English Professor loves Alexa Bliss.
Yeah. See? She does her job. She's great.
That's what Cheryl says. Yeah, she's good at her job.
Great. Next up is Rockin' Robin.
Yeah.
Not Scrubba.
Not Robin Scrubba?
No, not Robin Scrubba. A different
one. She held the belt a long time, and then the belt disappeared.
Yeah.
It was because of her, right?
She just left.
She left. And
the belt left,
the
everything.
belt left, and then they came back with Medusa, with whatever her name was, Alundra Blaze later.
Yeah.
Rockin' Robin's going up against Beth Phoenix.
Beth Phoenix, kind of a little era right behind Trish and Lita. Glamazon, do you remember her? You remember her?
Yeah. Yep.
A bigger, more muscular girl that again, I don't know. I wasn't asphyxiated with women's wrestling back then.
Yeah.
I actually liked Chyna beating the shit out of people.
Yeah.
Which, way to drop the ball for both of us.
Yeah. We did, because obviously but was she ever a women's champion?
She was an Intercontinental champion, for the love of God.
Yeah. So who you got?
Jacqueline.
She's
a Hall of Famer.
She is. You're going to call her Miss Jacqueline, Mark, by the time she's through with you.
And who's she's taking on?
She's taking on Sasha Banks.
I thought...
The legit boss.
How did that happen?
What?
You told me you were going to write Bailey down. Did we not write Bailey down?
I guess we didn't write Bailey down. I'm so sorry. We left out Mark's Bailey. Mark, forgive me.
We also left out somebody else, too. My God, we just ruined this whole thing. We don't have Chyna in it. We don't have Bailey in it. We don't have the hottest person in wrestling right now, Becky Lynch, in it. Because my asinine rules ruined it for myself. Because they had held the title at least more than once.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, this will be a great WLF.
It really will be. It really will be. It's going to be a good tournament.
So... hour in, you want to rant about anything else?
Jacqueline was on your buddy Al Snow's show back in the day, right?
Yeah.
What was it, on MTV, I think? It was a reality show about becoming a professional wrestler. And Al was one of the trainers. Jacqueline was one of the trainers.
Tough Enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, Maven came from there. There's a couple people who actually came from there. A lot of people came from there.
And that was a quote. Like, when they unleashed...
The Beast.
When they unleashed Jacqueline...
Pat's not here, so...
Anyway, that's what Jacqueline would say. Y'all are going to call me Miss Jacqueline today by the time I'm through with you. She whipped those guys into shape.
Starrcade tomorrow night. You know, watch Starrcade on the network?
Yeah, I'll watch
It's
Starrcade.
an hour.
Yeah.
Some of the matches, Seth Rollins against Dean in a cage. It was supposed to be a street fight, but now they put it right in the cage. They really haven't had a match yet. Why the hell is it going in the cage for the first match?
That's a little quick. Because it's Starrcade, which is traditionally an NWA pay-per-view. And you know the NWA, right off the bat, would always go straight to the cage.
They would.
Ronnie Garvin and Ric Flair. Are they really in enough of a feud to put them in a cage right away? Put them in a cage right away.
How do you feel about what WWE is doing to Starrcade, though? I said Wednesday that I think this was one of Dusty's big... This was their pay-per-view. You know, this was
the original. I mean, this was... WrestleMania was 85. Starrcade was 83, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
And then they had the Night of Skywalkers. That scaffold match.
They can call it whatever they want, but it's never going to be... It's different. It's changed, and, you know, what can you do? They own everything. They can call it whatever they want.
I just wish they would throw a different pay-per-view away. Roadblock or...
Yeah.
You know, you can't change Survivor Series from being in November.
Right.
That's theirs. But maybe October have Starrcade or December. I mean, I'm okay with moving it to one of those other 2 months. Don't have it in July because that's Great American Bash.
Yeah.
That's another story. But I think you have to do something bigger than just have a show in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
At least last year the show was in Charlotte or in North Carolina. If you're going to recognize Starrcade, keep it in the Crockett era. Not that era, idiot. In the Crockett territory.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, that is a good idea. And it needs to be bigger than what it is. Starrcade was huge, man.
And you're only going to see an hour of it.
Yeah.
So there's like 8 matches on it, which good for the people going.
Yeah.
But you're going to advertise it, so we're going to get horrible highlights from it.
I don't get the point of it, yeah.
I'm going to watch it anyway. It's freaking wrestling.
We're going to tune in.
Yep.
That's all that matters.
Anything else? I've covered anything that I wanted to...
No, I think I'm going to tap out.
Oh, all right.
I'm looking forward to this tournament.
It will start on Thursday, so make sure you catch up with us. Everything will be posted. The English professor will write all the cute little shenanigans. He's got until Thursday to write the first round. He's looking at it and he's like, oh shit, I just did that to myself.
It's all right.
And I'll put it up on the old Facebook.
And that's why I voted for Lou Albano, was because of the little thing I wrote. I wrote Bobby Heenan's insults, and I wrote Lou Albano's plea. And I thought, oh my God, Lou Albano needs us. He's asking for our help.
He was. I voted for Lou because of the Bulldogs. Honestly, I loved them.
Yeah.
So,
all right.
You want to end it? You remember how to end it? Paul can't. I have nothing written down for you. So, do you remember?
Remember, Mark, just because you're trash, it doesn't mean you can't do great things. It's called a garbage can, not a garbage cannot.
See you guys Wednesday. Make sure you vote.